A trader named Marcus didn't blow up his $10,000 account on one bad trade. That first loss? It was only $200, completely survivable. What killed his account were the next 9 trades, the ones he made in the 40 minutes after that loss, while his heart was still pounding. By the time he stopped, he was down $4,100. 41% of his account gone, not from a bad strategy, from a feeling. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how that feeling works, why it's wired into your brain, and how to shut it down before it empties your account too. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we break down the psychology side of trading, the part that actually determines whether you keep your money, because honestly, most people lose not because they picked the wrong indicator, but because of what's happening between their ears. And today we're talking about the single most expensive emotion in trading: revenge. Revenge trading is when you take a loss, and instead of accepting it and moving on, you immediately jump into another trade to win it back. You're not trading your plan anymore. You're trading your wounded ego. And here's why I call it the silent account killer. It doesn't show up on any chart. There's no candlestick pattern for it. Your strategy can be perfectly profitable on paper, and revenge trading will still drain you to zero because it hijacks the one thing your strategy depends on: your discipline. By the end of this video, you're going to understand 3 things. 1. Exactly what's happening in your brain when revenge trading kicks in. In plain English, no jargon. 2. A real step-by-step example of how a small loss snowballs into a catastrophe with the actual numbers. And 3. The most common mistakes that pull traders into the revenge spiral, plus a specific practical system to stop yourself before you do real damage. Let's get into it. Let's start with what's actually going on. Because once you understand the mechanism, you stop blaming yourself and start managing it. When you take a loss, your brain doesn't process it like a math problem. It processes it like a threat. There's a part of your brain called the amygdala. Think of it as your internal alarm system. Its entire job is survival. It can't tell the difference between a lion charging at you and a $200 loss on your screen. To the amygdala, loss is danger, and danger means act now. So it floods your body with adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart rate jumps. Your thinking narrows. And here's the critical part: the rational, planning part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, the part that wrote your trading rules in the first place. It gets pushed aside. Scientists call this an amygdala hijack. For a few minutes, you are literally not the same person who built your strategy. Now layer on a second factor: loss aversion. Decades of research show that human beings feel the pain of losing money about twice as intensely as the pleasure of gaining the same amount. So a $200 loss doesn't feel like $200. It feels like $400. It feels unfair. It feels like something that needs to be corrected immediately. And that's the trap. Because the market doesn't owe you that $200 back. The market doesn't even know you exist. But your brain is now screaming, "Fix this." And the fastest way to make that feeling stop is to take another trade. Not a good trade. Any trade. Just something that gives you the chance to feel whole again. This is why revenge trading feels so logical in the moment and so insane 10 minutes later. In the moment, you're not chasing profit. You're chasing relief. You want to erase the feeling of being wrong. And to get that relief fast, you start breaking your own rules. You skip your setup. You double your position size. You move your stop loss, or you remove it entirely. You enter trades you'd normally laugh at. Here's the simplest way to know if you've crossed the line. Ask yourself one question. Am I taking this trade because it matches my plan or because I want my money back? If the honest answer is, I want my money back, you are not trading. You are gambling with a wounded ego. And the house always wins that one. So the core concept is this. Revenge trading isn't a strategy problem. It's a nervous system problem. And you can't fix a nervous system problem with a better indicator. You fix it with a process, which is exactly what we're building today. Let's go back to Marcus because his numbers tell the whole story. And I want you to notice something. Every single decision he makes feels reasonable to him in the moment. Marcus has a $10,000 account. His rule, the rule he wrote down when he was calm, is simple. Risk 1% per trade. That's $100 of risk max on any single position. Stick to that, and even a bad losing streak barely scratches him. 9:45 in the morning. Marcus takes his first trade, a clean setup. It goes against him and hits his stop. He's down $100. Totally normal. This is the cost of doing business. If he closes his laptop right now, he's fine. But he doesn't feel fine. That loss aversion we talked about is telling him this $100 feels like $200. So at 9:51, 6 minutes later, he jumps back in. Except this time he's annoyed. So he tells himself, I'll size up a little to make it back faster. He risks $200. The setup is mediocre. He knows it. He takes it anyway. It loses. Now he's down $300 total. And this is where the amygdala fully takes over. His thinking has narrowed to a single point. Get back to even. At 9:56 he enters again, this time risking $400 on a trade with no real setup at all. He's just clicking. It loses. He's now down $700. Watch the spiral. Each loss makes the feeling worse, and the worse the feeling, the bigger the size he uses to escape it. By 10:03, he's risking $800 a trade, and he's stopped looking at his actual strategy entirely. He moves a stop loss because he's sure it'll come back. It doesn't. That single trade costs him $1,200. By 10:25, 40 minutes, after that first harmless $100 loss, Marcus has taken 10 trades total. He's down $4,100, 41% of his account. Now here's the math that should haunt every trader watching this. To recover a 41% loss, Marcus doesn't need to make 41% back. He needs to make about 70%. That's how drawdown works. The deeper you dig the hole, the steeper the climb out. A 10% loss needs an 11% gain to recover. A 50% loss needs a 100% gain. You have to double your money just to get back to where you started. And remember, Marcus's strategy was fine. If he had stopped after that first $100 loss, he'd have ended the day down 1%, a nothing day, a coffee. Instead, one feeling, left unmanaged for 40 minutes, set him back months. That is the silent account killer. It never announces itself. It just whispers, one more trade, and you'll be even. So how do you make sure you're not the next Marcus? Let's go through the most common mistakes that pull traders into the revenge spiral, and the exact fix for each one. Mistake number 1, trading without a daily loss limit. This is the big one. Yeah, Marcus had a per-trade rule, but he had no rule for the whole day. The fix is a hard daily stop-loss, a maximum amount you're allowed to lose before you're done, no exceptions. A common number is 3% of your account. On a $10,000 account, that's $300. Hit it, and you close the platform. Marcus would have been forced out after his third trade, saving himself $3,400. Write this number down before the trading day starts when you're calm, not in the heat of a drawdown. Mistake number 2, increasing position size after a loss. This feels intuitive. I lost, so I need a bigger win to recover. It's exactly backwards. After a loss, your judgment is at its worst, which is precisely when you should be risking the least, not the most. The fix is a rule that your position size never goes up after a losing trade. Ever. If anything, you cut it in half. Same size or smaller, that's the only direction allowed. Mistake number 3, trading immediately after a loss. The amygdala hijack we talked about doesn't last forever. Your stress hormones need time to clear, usually somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes. The mistake is re-entering within seconds, while you're still flooded. The fix is a mandatory cool-down timer. After any loss that stings, you step away for at least 15 minutes. Stand up, get water, walk around the block. You are not allowed to touch the platform. This one rule alone breaks the spiral, because the spiral depends entirely on speed. Mistake number 4, confusing being active with being productive. New traders feel like they have to be in a trade to be working. So after a loss, sitting on their hands feels like failure. The truth is the opposite. The best traders do nothing most of the time. Not trading is a position. It's often the most profitable one. The fix is a mindset shift. Your job isn't to trade. It's to wait for your specific edge and protect your capital when it's not there. And mistake number 5, not tracking your emotional state. Most traders journal their entries and exits, but never write down how they felt. The fix is a one-line note on every trade. Was this a planned setup or an emotional reaction? After 2 weeks, you'll see a pattern. You'll find that almost all your worst losses came from trades you tagged emotional. Once you can see it in black and white, it gets a lot harder to lie to yourself. Put those 5 together, and you get a simple protective system. A hard daily loss limit, never sizing up after a loss. A 15-minute cool down, the permission to do nothing, and an honest emotion log. None of that requires a better strategy. It just requires you to decide your rules in advance, and then obey the calm version of yourself instead of the panicked one. Now, if this is hitting a little too close to home, if you recognized yourself somewhere in Marcus's story, I promise you're not alone. And you're not broken. Every trader fights this. The ones who survive are just the ones who built the rules to protect themselves from their own brain. That's exactly what this whole series is about. We're going through trading psychology piece by piece. Fear, greed, overtrading, the fear of missing out, all of it. And turning each one into something you can actually manage. So if you want to keep your account alive long enough to let a good strategy do its work, subscribe and turn on the notification bell. The next video tackles the emotion that quietly causes more revenge trades than any other, the fear of missing out. You won't want to miss it. So let's land on the one thing to remember. Revenge trading doesn't kill accounts because traders are dumb or because their strategy is bad. It kills accounts because a loss triggers a survival reflex. And that reflex makes you trade to feel better instead of to make money. The single biggest takeaway is this: the loss is never the real problem. What you do in the next 15 minutes is the real problem. Protect those 15 minutes with a daily loss limit, a cool down, and the discipline to walk away, and the silent account killer has nothing to work with. Master that, and you've already beaten most traders out there. I'll see you in the next one. And that's a wrap on today's topic. If you found this helpful, be sure to hit like and subscribe so you never miss a lesson. Have a question about what we covered today? Drop it in the comments below. I'll be answering the best ones. If you want to dive even deeper, click on this next video right here, where we explore next topic. Thanks for learning with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.